In 2008 or 2009, I had a profound dream where I time traveled with Barack Obama. I don't remember if he was president yet or not, but the dream had so many vivid details and so much dialogue that I wrote it all down when I woke up. But the research that I did after I woke up and the emails that I received coincided with the dream in very strange and mysterious ways. So I've held on to this story for about 5 years now, and I'm going to try to tell it again with pictures so that anyone watching could kind of experience the dream I had, plus the horror or excitement or intrigue of the things that happened in the real world that related nearly directly to the dream. So here it goes. And myself and Barack Obama time traveled to the year 1876 to run him against Rutherford B Hayes to make necessary adjustments to history. Last night I had an incredibly vivid and adventurous dream. This dream crossed over into the real world. I went to bed earlier than I usually do, so I had more time for dreams. This dream had myself and President Barack Obama on a time travel mission. We were sent back in time to the year 1876 to run Barack Obama against Rutherford B Hayes in the presidential election of that year. He kept telling me that I was part of his campaign staff that will make necessary adjustments to history. I kept looking around for a campaign staff and I didn't see anyone except me and Barack. I also kept noticing the setting we were in tremendously reminded me of my backyard in 1993. I explained to Barack that I didn't think we were in the year 1876, but in the year 1993, in my backyard. Barack kept ducking behind my neighbor's canoe and saying to me,
"You are part of my campaign staff that will make necessary adjustments to history. We are in the year 1876. I am here to run against Rutherford B Hayes to make necessary adjustments to history."
I went on to explain to him that I didn't necessarily vote for him, but that I didn't vote against him, and that I didn't get to vote because I forgot my ID. I also told him I enjoyed a picture that a fan made during the campaign that exchanged his head with Marty McFly on the Back to the Future poster, and it said, "Barack to the Future," and how cool it was that here I was with Barack Obama traveling through time. He gave me his big trademark smile, and I felt like I had made friends with him, and that he was kind of looking at me with that borderline, "Can you believe this is real?" look in his eye, implying,
"I told you, I would just bring change. I am the real Marty McFly. They are scared of me because I know how to travel through time and make necessary adjustments to history."
Prior to this engagement here, have you ever heard of Rutherford B Hayes? I said I've heard of him. He said,
"What do you know about Rutherford B Hayes?"
I said, well, that he was president, I think around the time of the Civil War, like maybe right after it. He said,
"That is all you know about Rutherford B Hayes. Right, that is all you know about Rutherford B Hayes. Then what do you care how it will make necessary adjustments to history?"
He paused.
"It is a big idea. Do you know what a big idea is, Jonathan?"
He said, what you might want to question is whether I'm from your time period or not. Maybe I am Barack from the future.
And so, if I was not from your time, you would look at me differently. Like I was different. What if I spent a lot of time in your period of time, but was not initially from your time, but spent the majority of my experience of life in your time period, you know? Like if I was born in a foreign country, but spent the majority of my life in the United States.
He then smiled with his insane big smile, and then inquisitively asked, if you should discover that I'm not from your time, or from a parallel time, would you think of me differently? Like in a negative way? Are time travelers offensive to you? Are you offended that we would travel into other people's time? I said, it's funny you should ask, because if I did find out you weren't from my time period, it would alter my perspective of you, because, and I never thought of this until you asked me, but all people of a time period, we share our common timeline. We're all from the same time, same planet. So if I'm not from your time, you'd look at me differently, like I was different. Well, I'm just exploring my feelings here. It's a subconscious feeling, but yeah, I would feel like you're different because you are from some mysterious time that I don't know about yet, especially if it's the future. having the ability to time travel puts you in like superhuman category until others start doing it. The only time travelers I know of are John Teeter, Al Bielek, Andrew Basiago, and people who have been part of time travel experiments. I might be concerned that you don't have my period of time in your best interests, since you have access to all of time, of which we are now making, what have you been calling it? Necessary adjustments to history?
That is a good point, and the differences. I have the best interest of all of time, not just your time period. Sometimes necessary adjustments to time need to be made.
I don't mean to spoil all the fun, but I think we're in my neighbor's backyard in the year 1993 and not 1876.
How do you know that? How do you know that if you do not?
I don't know. Maybe because I don't think this kind of grass existed back then. And that's my house. My house was built in 1976, not 1876. In addition, I never thought the past existed in full color. It should be either in black and white or those watercolors the pictures are painted in. But besides that, how are you going to run against Rutherford B Hayes? Nobody even knows you in this time period. And, don't take this in the bad way, and I know your mom was white and all that, but I think these people are probably going to think you should be a slave or some kind of crazy... We're like right at the end of the Civil War.
That is where you come in. You must convince these people that I am the right candidate for the presidency.
Okay, Barack, I don't even know the politics of this time. I have no frame of reference of the issues of their time, and... Stop! Whether I win or lose is inconsequential. I'm here to run against Rutherford B Hayes. I didn't say anything about any outcome, or if we'll even still be here for the outcome. Oh, and would it surprise you if the past did not exist in color, but existed in the same colors you assumed it to? Yeah, some presidents exist only as paintings. Why are we making adjustments to history? Barack didn't answer the question directly. He started acting like a Hollywood actor in a blockbuster drama. JFK. Who killed JFK? Oswald? The Mafia? The government? The Illuminati? The Russians? The Federal Reserve? Castro? Makes you wonder about Castro's rise to power now, doesn't it? Why is Castro still there all this time? Have you ever considered that it wasn't John F. Kennedy in the car? That was a lookalike. How was his rise and fall so perfect? Camelot? All the women? The great looks? The war hero? All the great speeches? The quest for space? The nuclear standoff with Russia and no nukes got launched? Bay of Pigs? How could they mess that up? His assassination, so perfectly on television, and repeated over and over again, and still talked about to this day. What about Abraham Lincoln? What about how all of your history books change all the time? You don't think necessary adjustments to history were made? For all this stuff to work out how it did? You think things can naturally occur so perfect? We have to make necessary adjustments to time. Why would the government help keep the conspiracy theories alive? Don't be surprised if you see me fake my death when you get back to your time period. The people will believe it's real. And even if it does happen, it may get adjusted over time. How do you think the Underground Railroad started? Don't you think time travelers went into those times and made adjustments? If you look at history and war, try to understand the politics of things like Vietnam, all the contingencies, and the rules of engagement. And if you approach it with the idea that there are long timeline historical significance to these things, you'll understand why some things don't have clear-cut answers, and why some do. Dropping of 2 atomic bombs on Japan alter everything. All you gotta do is go back in time and call off that one mission, and you change it all. At that point, a big thunderstorm and lightning struck, and Barack had a realization. And in a dream, all things can all happen instantaneously. Barack realized that Rutherford B Hayes was saving and not spending his election money and investing his campaign contributions in a bond, some kind of a security thing that he knew was going to go up in value in the future to give him enough money to win the election. And he was forfeiting the early stages of the campaign cycle, as if Rutherford B Hayes was also time traveling, and was a time traveler from the future with insider trading tips. And Barack realized that, and then realized it was a losing call. Barack said, I see the future, and it's just fat cats in Washington and Wall Street getting richer. I don't remember any more specific details to the dream, but I had fun with Barack. It was cool to feel like we traveled through time, even though I felt like we traveled 16 years into the past, not 133. Near the end of my dream, there was a corny montage scene where there was some happy song playing and it showed us on the roller coasters enjoying cotton candy with a smile and did all the silly things they show in movies that mock the cutesy fun time people have. I'm trying to remember if we ever got to 1876, but I'm not sure. I was trying to get him to want to do a rap song with me, but he didn't seem interested. The strangest thing about the dream is I don't know if I've ever even thought about Rutherford B Hayes in my life. I understand Barack Obama being in my dream, but to go back in time to 1876 to contest Rutherford B Hayes in an election is nuts to me, because it was the exact year that his election happened. I looked him up after I woke up today on the internet, and I found out he was in the closest election of all time that got delayed, like the Bush-Gore election of 2000. It was considered the most closely contested election of all time. In fact, Hayes thought he wouldn't win the election when he went to bed that night, and he woke up and won by one vote. And from the outcome of that election, they came up with the Electoral College system. The only thing, as I'm trying to figure out how I could have possibly had Rutherford B Hayes come into my mind, is if he was mentioned on the Jon Stewart America in Action audiobook that I listened to possibly 2 weeks ago. But I don't even know if they mentioned his name on it. And if they did, it was really, really random. I'm just trying to figure out what triggered Rutherford B Hayes. I mean, really, who the heck thinks about Rutherford B Hayes? Here is his White House biography, which I read today after waking up. How strange is the story to my dream? If you read into it, it feels like there actually was a hidden hand involved in the election making necessary adjustments to history. I've been stunned all day that my mind would think of Rutherford B Hayes. Rutherford B Hayes! And now the final caveat of this dream was that the next day I got one of those conservative forwarded emails where they're trying to make fun of Barack Obama. And in the dream, it had him with his feet on top of the Resolute desk. I'm seeing this like the same day or the day after I just had this dream. And I looked up the desk, and that desk was given to Rutherford B Hayes from the Queen of England or somewhere. That desk came to the White House during Rutherford B Hayes' election. The creepiness of this is just so creepy. It's almost like, when I see those pictures of Obama with his feet on the desk, I don't see it like people, oh, he's disrespecting the white. No, I don't see it like that. It's way worse. I see it as if that desk is his time travel prize. With his feet on Rutherford B Hayes' desk, it's like him conquering time. It's his time travel trophy. It demonstrates that he conquered time and accomplished his mission, that he is the champion of all time. But little do they know, he's this massive time traveler. My dream was just a random dream, but it's played out into the real world in so many ways. The Resolute desk, the WhiteHouse.gov story, and there's Obama versus Rutherford B Hayes memes. Anyway, it was a fun dream. I enjoyed it. I hope you cracked up watching it. And I hope next time you see Obama and you see the desk, think of him like Biff in Back to the Future 2 when he was time traveling. He is the time travel master, and we had fun time traveling. Thanks for watching. If you want to hear more crazy stories like this, subscribe to this channel, because I make them from time to time. Quick disclaimer, this is a dream. This is not a real thing. I don't think I really time traveled with Barack Obama, but who the heck knows? This is for entertainment purposes only. So, enjoy it.